Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. We have a busy, exciting day today. I have an arborist and his team coming today to address my trees on my property. And you all know, well, if you haven't heard it yet, I am very nervous about tree pruning. As a gardener, I feel pretty confident in a lot of things, but when it comes to tree pruning, I get a little iffy about it. It's something, I think it's a skill that you need to get more and more comfortable with as time goes on. And especially when you're dealing with giant, mature navel orange trees like I have here. These guys are probably like 30 plus feet tall or something. So I just personally don't feel comfortable really addressing them. Now I have gone in there and I have limbed them up before a little bit, but I haven't been able to get up top and thin them out, which is one of the things that the arborists are going to do today. So I was talking to my friend Michael Glassman, and he works with this company. They're called Capital Arborists if you're local. And he recommends them to all of his clients, and he uses them himself. So when he told me that, I thought, okay, I got to get these guys here. So I had him here the other day. I had the certified arborist here the other day. His name is Joe Dunn, and he walked me all through my property, and we talked about every single tree that I have growing here, even the new ones that I just planted in the fall. And we have a whole plan of how we're going to maintain all the trees, take care of them, make sure that they grow well, the new ones grow well, and we can take care of the older ones. So today Joe's bringing a team, and I asked him if I could film, and he said yes, of course, which is great because I get to share it with all of you. But it's just, I've been really, really excited about today because I know my trees need to get addressed. And it's just something that I think that if I watch the arborist do it a couple times, maybe I'll be able to take on a couple of the jobs myself, but I want to watch the professionals do it first. So Joe and his team are scheduled to be here any minute. And while I'm waiting for them, I'll take you all through and show you kind of a before shot of the trees. So the two main trees that they're going to be addressing today are my two navel orange trees. These guys, this was like a big reason why we bought the house. The beautiful, beautiful orange trees that they have here, mature orange trees. They have so much fruit. They set so much fruit in December and January. We have so many oranges. We still have oranges from up inside the tree that we weren't able to get. They're still dropping, but they've already set their fruit for next year, which is how orange trees work. They bloom late winter, early spring, and then they spend all year growing their fruit. And so because they're thinning them out in July, we are going to lose some fruit set, but it is so intense and these trees are so thick that Joe is saying it will probably be a benefit to kind of thin them out a little bit and allow them to put all their energy into less fruit rather than more fruit. And honestly, we don't need it's too much fruit. It is absolutely too much fruit. So anyway, these are the big things that they're going to work on, and you can see how tall they are. There's just no way that I could get up there without professional equipment, I would say. So then coming over here, they're not going to address my fig tree because that fig tree has already been addressed this year. My other arborist, this guy is looking really, really good. The tree they are going to address though is this lime tree. I don't know what is going on with this lime tree. I'm a little worried about it. You can see that this whole limb right here has kind of died. So when I was talking to Joe about it, he said that lime trees, they definitely have a lifespan, and this one might just be at the end of its lifespan. It is definitely suffering, and each year it has suffered more and more. Oh, I have mosquitoes biting me. If you see me jerking around, it's because of the mosquitoes. So the lime tree is definitely suffering. They are going to come, they're going to trim off some of the extra branches that have died, and then they're going to kind of treat it, give it some nutrients or something like that. I have to ask him exactly what they're going to do, but basically they're going to try and address this poor lime tree, which I'm so sad about because these limes were absolutely delicious. But he did say that I might have to replace this lime tree eventually in a couple years. So that is okay. I accept that, but I'm going to try and save it first. I think they're going to address the willow tree today. I know we talked about it, but I'm not sure if it got on the work order form. I'll have to ask Joe about it. I am planning to eventually do the willow tree myself. I think it is a job that I can handle, and willow trees grow so fast. It makes it so it's a little bit more palatable. If I screw up, it'll just grow and it'll repair whatever damage I did to it. But I'm thinking that while I have an arborist here, I can watch exactly what they're doing. I can learn from Joe, ask him, and then really figure out a really good way to take care of this tree myself. They are going to be pulling my sad tulip poplar tree that died. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. And I was talking to Joe about what type of tree we could replace this with. His favorite tree is a ginkgo, and so I was thinking that might be really fun. Or even putting another Chinese pistache here, so I could have more than one Chinese, well, I have that Chinese pistache, I have another Chinese pistache newly planted over there, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have a third one right here on the other side of the driveway? So I just have to decide. It's not time to plant trees, I gotta wait for fall, but this tree is coming out today. While I'm talking about trees, I just have to point out my Tuscarora crepe myrtles. These babies are new. They are just getting going, but can you see how beautiful they are and how much I love crepe myrtles? Oh, they're so, so, so gorgeous. So these are the Tuscarora varieties. I'm 99% sure it's the same variety that I had at my last house. At my last house, I had a big mature version that we inherited with the house, and it had the same color. And this time of year, holy cow, when it's blooming, it is just so beautiful. So they're not touching these trees right now. They don't need to, but probably when they come next year for their annual visit, they'll probably, mess with them just a little bit. Just crepe myrtles don't need a lot of care. They're pretty much set it and forget it trees. But we will be paying attention to them. I just have to show them off. They're just so beautiful. Okay, and then coming through here, I pointed out my trimming on the black walnut. Joe said that was fine. I trimmed this tree myself a couple weeks ago. This is my neighbor's tree, and I just had to basically limb it up. And he said it was fine. He didn't have to address it today. So we're just going to leave that. One thing they are going to take care of is my lavender twist redbud right here. This is a beautiful, beautiful specimen. However, both last year and this year, I got this stuff on it, and I'm pretty sure this is called Cercospora. It's is it a fungus? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a fungus that red buds get, and what he said is this needs to be thinned out quite a bit, so I'm just going to watch him and see if he can thin this out properly. Again, it will be a learning experience for me just to see how he takes care of this lavender twist redbud, which I absolutely love, but I also don't want a tree that's going to constantly get issues like this. So, and I did spray this. I sprayed this with copper when it was dormant, and it's still getting issues. So let's see if a little bit of pruning to get a little bit more airflow in here is going to help. And we'll basically see how it does. Coming into the back garden, another tree they're going to remove is my silver dollar eucalyptus. I'm so sad it didn't take. This was a gift from Raphael at Park Winters, and it was a pretty mature tree, and I transplanted it, and I just think it was the wrong time of year. It just got stressed. Joe said he's not really surprised that it suffered, and he said it's time for it to go. So I don't know what I'm going to do here. I don't know if I'm going to put another tree here or do something else, but he said he could just pull this really easily. And then coming back here, I have my two mature olive trees. I have one right here. I actually have three of them, but he's just going to do two. I have this one right here, and then I have this one back here, and it just needs a little bit of addressing. You can see it's really normal for olive trees to get kind of woody back here on the underside like this, and they're just going to come through and they're just going to clean it up a little bit so that when I plant underneath here, it'll be nice and it'll look a little bit cleaner. It's a beautiful, beautiful olive tree. I love it. It just needs a little bit of attention. And then over by the chicken coop, I have my favorite tree that I have here on the property, my Chinese pistache. He said that it doesn't need to be addressed today, but eventually he is going to come in and kind of clean up some of the limbs underneath here. We just have just the teeniest bit of cleanup, but I told him that this is my prized possession on this property and I want it taken care of. And so he said that we can just adjust it a little bit, maybe later on in the season or even next year. So I think that's the plan for today. Of course, something might change once he gets here and gets a good look at all of the trees and everything that we have going on. I am planning to pay very, very close attention to what they're doing. I will probably be annoying and be asking them a whole bunch of questions. So I'll try and be on my best behavior. And then when they're doing like some of the more mundane work, I'll just be like kind of cleaning things up and weeding and everything like that. But I am very excited for them to get here. So I will just wait for them to come. All right, the guys are here. I want to introduce you to Micah. Hi, Micah. Nice to meet you. Thank you. And Oscar. Nice to meet you guys. So how long have you guys been doing this?
I've been doing this for about 15 years now.
15 years! And you are taking your ISA certified arborist test, is that right?
I'll be taking it next month.
Oh, congratulations! That's really exciting. So, change of plans, Joe wasn't able to make it today.
Right.
But
so they sent me out just to make sure that everything is done to your liking.
Cool.
Like I said, I've been doing this for about 15 years now. Taking the exam now because that's all I have left to do.
Cool.
I've been high as you can go, as wide as you can go.
Yeah.
I do prefer doing smaller trim jobs now, just because there's a little more detail into it. And I enjoy making things nice. So.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy you guys are here. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully you can finish before it gets too hot.
Well, that's why we're going to start today.
That's smart. Very smart. All right, let's get going. Micah, can you just show me the roots on that?
Yeah, so it's too much water.
Too much water?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
So you see how the roots are kind of dark?
Yeah.
So it's so much water in there that the oxygen pores actually filled up with water as well.
Oh, no.
So I just stopped it from being able to breathe.
So I killed it?
So yeah, it's just too much water. So basically within the soil,
Yeah.
it's 50% of the soil is supposed to be oxygen and water.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be, the nutrients of the soil, then 25% water, 25% oxygen. But the bad thing is not your fault. The bad thing about it is not enough water
Yeah.
and too much water gives you exact same results.
Right.
So not enough water, it'll look like this. Too much water, it'll look like this.
Darn it.
But all the absorbing roots,
Yeah.
so the small roots on the side are the ones that actually take up the nutrients and water, and they're all gone.
Yeah.
These large roots are just for storage and anchorage of nutrients.
Okay.
But since all these roots are gone like this and they're black and fleshy and they have a smell, just indicates that it was too much water, so they started to rot away.
Bummer. Okay. Well, good to know.
Same thing for the one in the front too. So however
That was too much water?
Yeah, so however much water you're putting in, probably cut it in half. Or you can give it a day of rest and a day of water.
Yeah.
Because actually with the soil being able to dry out a little bit,
Yeah.
it fluctuates. Because when it gets wet, the moisture, the water, the soil gets thicker.
Yeah.
Then when it dries out, it kind of shrinks up. So that fluctuation of soil will actually add more air molecules or particles in the soil.
You're kidding. That was too much water?
It was too much water. And then also with all the mulch you have on the ground,
Yeah.
you don't need as much water because the mulch stops the evaporation.
Oh my gosh.
Because the heat, all the mulch is taking all the heat.
Yeah.
The dirt underneath is able to hold the water better.
Oh.
So if you had an area with no mulch, it would transpire and it would evaporate more. But since you have the mulch down, it's actually holding the water more.
Okay.
So it's not evaporating as fast as it normally would.
Oh my God. I cannot believe I killed those 2 trees.
So yeah, it's just too much water.
Good to know. I'm glad you're here so you can tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
Because if I got a new one, I would do the exact same thing. I would probably give it more water. So
Nope.
good to
A
know.
little less water, and then want to put the drip line out to the edge of the brush.
Okay, so they're too close.
Yeah, because what happens is the roots go for the water.
Yeah.
So the closer the drip line is to the base of the tree,
Yeah.
the roots will actually turn around and start going back towards the base because they're searching for water.
Okay.
So if you put the drip lines out further,
Yeah.
it encourage the tree system to reach out more
Yeah.
and go for the water, and it will become more established, which takes up more space, and it'll be able to submit itself a little bit better.
I'm embarrassed.
I know you were probably thinking like the heat.
I was thinking it was too dry, so I kept supplementing it.
And then if you can, with like especially newer plants, water later in the evening, early in the morning.
Okay.
Because that'll stop the transpiration, and then you won't have to water as much.
Thanks, Micah. Oops, rookie mistake. So Micah, you're all done. You guys have spent quite a number of hours. Are you exhausted?
No.
Oh, good.
I have another job to go help, but no, not tired.
You're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Well, I appreciate all your work. So let's start here. What'd you guys do over here?
Okay, so with this olive tree, it was very light compared to the other ones, but we gave it some clearance from the chicken coop, and then we got the unsightly dead out and gave you slight elevation so you don't have to duck as you walk by.
It looks so good. I didn't even think that you needed to touch this, but it looks so good.
Yeah.
What a difference. Very cool.
Okay, and then with the two olives over here, so with this one, the taller one, we just thinned it out and removed all the unsightly dead as well.
Okay.
But we also went in there and took out some of the clutter so it's not so heavy and it won't produce as much dead on the interior because it will be able to get more sunlight.
Oh, it looks
And the same thing with this one. We got the unsightly dead, thinned it out in the certain sections. Then we gave you a slight elevation, just about to the fence line, not above, so you still have a little bit of privacy.
It looks like a brand new tree. Like, it looks so good. There was so much, like, kind of old, dead stuff in there. This looks so great. I can't wait to plant underneath here. Do you have any advice on planting underneath olive trees? Like, is there anything I shouldn't plant under there? Do I need to worry about overwatering under there?
No, so with olive trees, especially ones that are a lot older, the root system is very, very deep. So for every inch around that the trunk of the tree is a foot of how far the root system goes.
But they're real deep, so I don't have to worry
about. So you don't have to worry about watering them or something getting in the way. And then it's enough light going through to where you can plant shade-tolerant plants or, you know, something that doesn't really like a lot of sunlight, so a little bit of sunlight. Okay. That will be good to go over there because it will thicken up over time.
Nice.
But with the shade, the plants that like shade, they will thrive under there because they only like a little bit of sunlight. They don't like the full amount of light.
Right.
So you can get a variety of plants that you can put under there as well.
I'm so excited right now. It's time to start planting because shade is tough here on my property.
Oh, I can tell.
I got a lot of sun here, so I'm waiting for all these trees to grow up so I have more shade to plant.
Yeah, so as this starts to grow, since it's thin, it will bush out, but it will grow more upright because it's able to.
Cool.
The reason it was growing down because the canopy was so dense. Yeah. So the new branches were just searching for light. So since they couldn't go up for the light, they went down and then out and then up. So that's why you had all that clutter over there.
Over here in this spot.
Yeah, because it was just all the lights over here. So it grew all the way down and then it grew up.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy you guys are here. Thank you. So we got the dead eucalyptus. We know what I did to that.
Yeah, and you can see like it's drying out now, but you can still it's still pretty moist.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's supposed to be like
It's my fault.
too moist. Yeah.
I kept watering it because it kept looking drier and drier and drier.
And like I said, that's the sucky thing about trees.
Yeah.
Too much water gives you the same effect as not enough water.
I can't
So
believe
next time, if you're not sure, maybe give it a day or two. Make sure it dries out. You can even come over here and move the soil.
Okay.
If the top like 3 or 4 inches is still wet, that means you don't need any water.
Okay.
And if you want to test the hole before you plant there, like right now, just fill it up with water, let it drain, do it again, let it drain, and then do it one more time, fill it up, and then see how long it takes to drain. Now, if it doesn't drain, that lets you know about how much water this area can take.
Okay.
But it's basically field capacity. So you just want to test it out.
Okay.
See what areas, but it's always better to let it dry out a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to see.
God, I literally did not expect you to say I was overwatering. That's the last thing I expected.
I've done it a few times myself.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it looks thirsty.
Well, you know, you're hot and you're thirsty.
So you're like, the tree has to feel the same way.
Must be hot and thirsty, right?
So with your orange trees,
what a huge difference.
we gave you elevation so you can see a little more of the structure. We went through and thinned it out, and then we tucked all those extra long ends back into the crown of the tree.
You tucked them in?
Yeah, so instead of like just cutting them completely out, we cut them, it's what's called a heading cut. So we took it back to something that was established.
Okay.
That way you won't get all that crazy vertical growth. Like a few of them, it looks like they were stubbed off to just cut.
Yeah.
So what happens when you just stub them off, the tree goes and shoots out more branches.
Okay.
But since it lost one, it's going to shoot out 2 or 3 just in case it loses one again.
Oh.
But the bad thing about that is now those 3 branches are in competition to be the leader. So they grow really fast and get really long. And then that's when you start to get the bent over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you cut them back to something substantial, what you cut it back to will take over, and then you'll just get the new growth up underneath.
Wow. I'm so glad you guys are here doing this. I mean, look at how much more space I have underneath. Like, what a huge difference.
Yeah, the dog was like, oh, I'm going to go under here.
He's going to be so happy because, again, it's more shade, a little bit of shade, which is so nice. And this one looks so
we did the same thing with this one. Was a little bit more aggressive just because it was a little more compact.
Okay.
It is a little bit smaller, but it had a lot of more interfering branches, so we went ahead and took those out just for structure-wise.
Yeah.
That way, as it does grow back, it doesn't interfere and hinder anything, and do that where it deters the growth into a direction that you don't want it.
Oh, okay.
Now everything can kind of grow into its own space, more natural, and there's not so many rubbers and crossers, and it won't distort the shape of the tree.
Okay.
Because it has its own space to grow into.
Great. So when do you think I should have you guys back to do this again? Do you think like every year? Or?
No, maybe every 2 to 3 years, depending on the growth rate.
Okay.
So you'll start to see it grow because you'll see the lighter new growth on top, but you'll also start to see some newer stuff in the middle.
Okay. And then, well, no, we got 2 more. We got the lime tree. So what do you think's going on with the lime tree?
So the lime is it was just a accumulation of things. So it started with the frost crack. And then that will open up the bark of the tree. And when it opens up the bark of the tree, it exposes the inner wood. And then the sun scalding happens. So it's just like frost crack opens it up. Now sun scald opens it up more. Frost crack, so it stressed out the root system.
Shoot.
And that's why the bark is starting to slough off.
It's kind of like
have
concrete cracks.
Right.
Okay.
So it does have the fungus on it, but the fungus is a secondary cause.
Oh.
The first cause was the stress from the heat, and then the extreme cold and it cracking open.
Is there anything I could have done to protect that, or was it kind of inevitable?
With the tree being here so long, it was probably happened way before you even paid attention to it. That's what sucks about it.
I appreciate you saying that so I don't feel so bad.
Yeah. No, so it's not something that you did. It's something that happened over time.
Okay.
And now we're just seeing the results of it.
Okay.
A lot of times people think like, oh, well, it just happened when it's really been going on for years or months.
Okay.
But we're just starting to see the effects of it.
Got it. All right. Poor thing. How long do you think I have with this tree?
Maybe a couple more years.
Okay.
I mean, it's still producing, it's still trying. As long as it's not defoliating
Yeah.
like completely year after year,
Yeah.
it's fine. As long as it's producing enough leaves to produce enough energy to store in the root system for the next growth season, it should be fine.
Okay. And then finally we got the willow.
Yes, the willow is very healthy. So we
Yay.
did slight elevation on it.
Okay.
And then we kind of matched the side that was less full to the other side so it's more even.
Okay.
It's going to lean this way regardless because the lines are in the way, and then it has stuff over there competing for light. Over here is nice, full, and open.
Yeah.
So it's going to lean this way just a little bit, but that's not really a bad thing. It will create reaction wood on the back side, so it'll still be nice and sturdy.
Cool.
And as it grows, you'll be able to slowly raise it to where you do have a nice area to hang out.
Yeah.
It's just smaller right now, so you don't want to remove the smaller scaffold branches that are kind of going out, because then you expose more of the bark. Even though it does have a nice amount of bark, it's just not really thick to where it'll be fully protected from the sun.
Okay.
This way it can focus more on, growing and production and less against defense.
Okay. And that's just a quality of a willow tree.
Yeah, that's just how willows
thin
are.
bark, you were saying.
Yeah,
me.
just slightly thinner. And then they like to be full and thick, so that's why it gets to droop, and then it protects. So the better that the core is protected, the better that the tree is.
Awesome. Oh, Micah, seriously, I feel so much better. I guess I was worried about the trees, but just having you come and look at them just makes me feel 1,000 times better.
Well,
so
I'm glad.
Thank you. Yeah.
So if you like it, we love it. And we're always going to try to do what's best for the trees and still make you happy.
Nice.
And try to find a medium ground to kind of stand on, because we don't want to give you exactly what you asked for and then it causes you more problems later.
I appreciate
a lot of times, like the look you want, it will take a little bit of time because you don't want to be too drastic with the cuts.
I understand. Yeah, got to be patient, got to listen to the professionals. I have one more question for you.
Yes.
What would you replace the tulip poplar that you took that out? What tree would you replace that with? What would be your favorite tree for right there?
Honestly, probably another crepe myrtle.
A crepe myrtle. Ooh, I like you saying it.
They're great in sunlight. They do very well with drought. They're very sturdy. They're very strong trees.
Yeah.
They're also very, very resilient.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing, especially out here where you get so much sun.
Yep. We need a tree that can handle it. Cool. I love that. Well, I'm asking everybody to see what they thought. Joe said a ginkgo. He thought a ginkgo.
Yeah, ginkgo, but ginkgos get real big.
I know.
So crepe myrtles do get big, but not to the point where it's just
crazy.
Massive.
Yeah.
And then with your lines being a little close, you don't want anything that's going to get tall as the line so fast.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. Well, Micah, huge thank you. And thank you to Oscar over there. You guys are so professional and so fabulous. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for coming.
Well, we appreciate the business, and we'll hopefully see you next time.
Yeah, I hope everyone watching enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.